you can make plenty of money in your program without building a large list. What I want you to focus on is your brand comes second. Like, we always want to maintain a positive brand, but like growing that audience happens only after we have a valid offer that we can give them. Hey, it's Joel Irway, and welcome to another very special episode of Sold with Webinars, the High Ticket Courses book preview edition. Today we are on part 9, and if you haven't grabbed yourself a copy of High Ticket Courses, go ahead to book.highticketcourses.com and grab yourself a copy. Today we're going to be talking about why it's important to build a profitable business before building a brand. And this is something that I deal with all the time from people who are in the course creation space, course leaders who want to sell low ticket first. And everything that I talk about here is incorporating a very holistic model. If you are confused on my message, let me be very, very clear. There's a time and place for both high ticket and low ticket to work together. What I teach inside of high ticket courses is the dissension model, which means you start with high ticket first, get cash in the door. It's much simpler to sell high ticket. It gets profit in your bank account so you can build a real business. And then if you want to scale down to low ticket, you absolutely can. That's why we incorporate low ticket in our business just like we incorporate high ticket. But we started with high ticket, and it's a great way to pad your bank account and give you the runway, the financial runway that you need to keep the lights on, to hire team members, to get other projects done, okay? So just understand that we teach a very holistic business model. And I want to tell you a quick story because this is very, very relevant, because it's a misconception that many people, many course leaders think. I was on a call with a friend a few years ago, and he was interested in hiring our agency. And he said, "Hey Joel, I love your message and I really resonate with it, but I really need help because I want your help to grow my business." I'm like, okay, well, one of the questions that I asked him, I says, "Well, tell me how many people are on your list?" He said, "Well, I've got 30,000 people on my list." And usually that's like a good indication that, like, okay, great, we can crush it for them. If they've got 30,000 people on their email list, then a lot of times we'll start with an email campaign before we run any paid traffic, just to validate offers and et cetera, et cetera. I'm like, oh man, that's awesome. Well, like, if you're, what are you doing to acquire those email leads? Like, well, we do a whole lot of blogging and a whole lot of SEO. And I'm like, oh, I've seen this before. Acquiring lists through, blogs and SEO isn't always a good sign. And so I'm like, all right, well, I asked a couple, further questions. I said, all right, well, I mean, how much are you making each month? With 30,000 people on your email list, you got to be doing, I'm thinking, at least $30,000 a month, right? And he's like, no, well, our best month ever was $800. I'm like, oh man. And unfortunately, I've seen this far too often. This is kind of more of an extreme case, but I've seen so many people fall into this trap of vanity metrics and placing a higher value on things that shouldn't have a high value at all. And one of them is your list, is your audience size, right? It's kind of why you see all these influencers on Instagram that have millions of followers, but they're broke, right? Because they value fame over fortune. And there's a right way and a wrong way to build a list. And what I've seen time and time again is the wrong way that so many course creators and course leaders build their list is they give away free lead magnets and free reports and all this stuff and just hope that they give enough value that eventually they will buy, rather than charging for certain things, charging for solutions, and building relationships with their buyers. Because I promise you this, you can make big money from small email lists. There was one client that we worked with that we generated over $25,000 with an email list of a couple hundred people, right? There have been many times that I've generated, I shouldn't say many times, but like, a handful of times. I just don't want you to think that many is like 100. It's more like, less than 10. But, it's been repeatable where, I create these lists of, say, a few dozen people, and I'm able to, extract $50,000 from those people, right? They're targeted leads, they're targeted buyers, but, the idea of you needing to have a big list to make a lot of money is completely false. I'll give you one other story that that will help explain this. Brad, who is a client of mine in the mentorship group, he he runs his power offer, his mini webinar funnel. He does probably $20,000 to $30,000 per month consistently, right? Off of about $2,000 to $3,000 a month in ads. Consistently has over a 10x return on ad spend, and he wanted to generate some extra cash. And so I told him to go ahead and host a webinar to his buyers list. Or I'm sorry, not his buyers list, to his leads list. People who applied but never ended up investing in his high ticket course. So his idea was to run this little webinar, this informal webinar, a Q&A webinar, to some people who he spoke with that didn't buy, and he called it Beers with Brad. And all he did was he hopped on one night, showed the results of what he was getting, and he had 5 people register for the webinar. 4 out of the 5 people who showed up ended up investing in his program. His program was $3,000, so he pocketed $12,000 from a tiny list of 5 people. Okay? Now, like I said, he's only spending $2,000 to $3,000 a month on ads. So he's not generating a massive list of people. In fact, he wasn't even generating a list. Like, he wasn't even collecting emails. He was just sending them straight to a phone call, and which was funny. I kept telling him many times to start collecting email leads, but regardless, the idea is the same. He has since changed it, and he is collecting email addresses now, but the idea is still valid. You can make plenty of money in your program without building a large list. What I want you to focus on is your brand comes second. Like, we always want to maintain a positive brand, but like growing that audience happens only after we have a valid offer that we can give them, right? I want the first interaction for my audience to see of me when I'm driving paid ads to be an offer, because I don't want them to think that I'm going to be giving them tons and tons of free stuff. I give them tons of free stuff after they've seen that I am running a business here. Whether they take me up on my offer or not is irrelevant, but I want them to know and be pre-framed that I've got stuff for them to invest in when they're ready. So for any of you who have joined my programs or bought my course or bought my high ticket courses, doesn't matter. I want the very first thing that somebody experiences with me to be some form of offer, so they know that I've got stuff that they can invest in when the time is right. Then they can go consume my podcast. They can consume any of my social media content. They can consume any of my content that we put on our website, but I want the first interaction to be some form of offer. Make sense? Offer first, then brand second. Build your business first, then build your brand second. That is my message for you today. If you haven't grabbed your copy of highticketcourses.com or High Ticket Courses yet, go to book.highticketcourses.com. Grab yourself a copy. Enjoy the book. It is my labor of love that I've been focusing on for the past 2 years, and I am getting some incredible feedback with it, and I'm happy to keep promoting this because it is a great way for me to give more value out into the world at a low and inexpensive investment for you. Like I said before, there's a time and place to merge low ticket and high ticket, and selling low ticket is extremely complex. It requires you to be an expert marketer. Selling high ticket does not require you to be an expert marketer. Enjoy the book, understand that concept, and I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.